Now, most of the data you have worked with as a young data analyst in training or a young analyst in an establishment are always a single data sheet like this, like the one I have here. And perhaps that is the only kind of data you have had to work with, having plenty columns like this and having everything together. And that is a very idealistic case. This data that you've gotten, some persons have done initial work upon them because this data has merged a whole lot of parts. As there is customer information somewhere here, there is sales information, there is date information, and all of that. That is why it is an idealistic case. In a real situation, in a real business setting, this data would not be together this way. This data, some of them would be in the sales department. A few of these would be in the sales department, and a few of these would be in the marketing department, and a few of these may be in the accounting department, and a few of this information would be in the marketing, those who go out there to fish for the customers, those who follow up with customers. So some of them would be with the customer service department. And as a data analyst, you need to bring this information from the sales department, from the marketing department, from the customer service department, from the admin department together to give a robust view of what is happening in the company, happening in the store. And so you would not always have data altogether this way. You would have data that is shared like this. This is how idealistic data is, or real data rather, is shared. Now, this is data from different departments of a company. In the first data, this company sells cookies, plenty cookies type, so to say. And so, in the first data, they list the amount or the type of cookies they have and the revenues they are expecting per cookie, and of course the cost of making one cookie. And that information gives you, or this data gives you, the type of cookie this company does, or this sales does, or this is look like a restaurant. So it gives you the kind of different product this company is making. And there is another part of this data, and this is from the customer service department. When you get to a store, it is a customer service department that collects your personal information from the data. And so this is the customer service department, and here they have the customer ID, they have the customer name, the phone number, the address, the city, the state, the zip, country, and some notes about the customer. And so this is another data from that company. And there is also a customer order. This is the actual sales data. This is the data you're getting from the sales department. And here it has the customer number, the customer ID, the product type, and the unit sold and the date it was sold. This is data from the sales department. So you're going to have these kinds of data. This is how real data comes around. And as a data analyst, as someone who is in charge of the data, you're supposed to bring the data from different sources, from different departments, bring them together and get insight out of them. Now, before now, doing this used to be such an Herculean task because you'd have to copy this different data from different departments and merge them together. And more often than not, you would not be able to find relationships with the data because some of these departments may be reporting the same data differently. Like we have in this case, some persons here have used product name and this department is using product name. Another part of the department is using cookie type, and you need to be able to marry all of these together. And it has always been a challenge. And so, what do you do now? What presently can be done? At the moment, there is a new beautiful addition to Excel 2016 and above. So, if you're using Excel 2016 version and above, you have this beautiful addition, and that is Power Query. That is Power Pivot. That is where Power Pivot comes to play. Power Pivot allows you to do data modeling. Now, data modeling is basically finding the relationship between two or more tables. At any time you're able to find a relationship between two or more data tables, we say you are creating a relationship, otherwise called what? Data modeling. And so in Power Pivot, you are able to do data modeling. And that is exactly what I want to show you in this video, how to create data models, how to use Power Pivot. Now, if you've not learned this before, this video will present a very basic overview of how you learn Power Pivot. And the beautiful part is you can start using it right away, and it has the ability to enhance your speed in your company, enhance your speed as a data analyst, enhance your speed in getting insight out of data very fast. Now let's dive right into it. First, this is the original Excel tab. This is a ribbon. The ribbon at the moment does not have Power Pivot. That's because it is not part of the novel presence of data. It's not part of the fundamental offerings of Excel. And so you need to bring that up. The first business in using Power Pivot is to bring it up. How do I bring it up? You go to File, and from File, you get to Options. And when Options come around, you get to Add Ins. And at add-ins, you would find these are the active applications. These are the non-active applications, non-active tabs that should be there. And so what are these non-active tabs? There is Power Map, there is Power Pivot, and it is Power Pivot you want to bring up. All of these are ribbons that are not presently showing that you can bring up. For now, I want to bring up Power Pivot for Excel, and so we're going to hit up that, and would come somewhere here. Look out here, you will see that Power Pivot is a computation add-in. That's the meaning of come here. It is a computation add-in. So when you go to manage, you want to click computation add-ins and change to that. You'll hit on go, and some things will pull up here, and you take up Power Pivot for Excel, and you hit on OK. And if you've done it right, Power Pivot will now become part of your ribbon. That is how you get that. And so when Power Pivot is now part of your ribbon, you hit on that, and these are the tabs in Power Pivot. It has a manage where you load in your data. It has measures where you calculate your data. It has KPIs where you create KPIs for your data. It has data model where you create relationship and where you detect the relationship, and where you get to set how this whole space would show up. But let's begin with the first, managing your data. Remember I said manage is where you load in your data, and so just click on manage, and this tab would come up. This drop down button would come up, and it is asking you get data from get external data. That's what I want to exactly do. Get not from a database, not from a data service, but from other sources. So I'll click on other sources, and all of the different other sources would pop up. But the sources I'm looking for is data from an Excel file I have saved somewhere within my device. So I'll click on that. I would hit on next, and it allows me, brings down a chat box that asks me to look for the data. I would browse through to find the data. This is the data, it is in my desktop. So I want to bring in the first data type, and that is cookies type. And I want to open, and it would find it directly. I want to say, yes, use first row as column headers. And I want to Um, okay, it says the data is in use. That means I have opened the data somewhere. So allow me to cancel. I would go to all the data I have opened and close it so that it could allow me access that data. I want to close all of them. I've closed them now, so let me go over it again. So I go to browse and take cookies type, I open, I add headers, I take to next. Because I've closed, it will now load. And when I'm sure that it's loading the right data, I would click on finish. You can preview, of course, but I don't reach to preview. So I just load up the data and close. When I close, the data would appear here. That is the first data and its cookies type. Cookie type, so I want to rename this as cookie type. That is the first data, and I want to bring more data, so I will repeat the process so that I could bring all the tables together. I'll browse still, and I want to bring customer details. I want to add to header. I want to go to next. I want to finish, and it has imported successfully. I would close so that I would see the second data, and I want to rename this to customer details, if you like. Customer details, yes, that's customer details. And I want to still bring more data because I have three tables. If I have four tables, I'll do the same for all four tables until I have all of them together. I have that, and I'm going to finish and I close. So I have the last data, and that is uh, customer order. I could simply just call it order or thereabouts. Order, that is all the things they have bought. So I have all of these friends together, and I have it there, I have it there, I have it there. I could just close for now. Okay, I could just close this for now and go to model this together. Okay, so I go to detect. So I go back here somewhere there, and this time I want to go to diagram view. It is a diagram view. I would create the relationship between the data. This is the data, all of it at the moment. I want to extend this a little, and I want to open this up a little. Now, this data has some relationship. What are the relationship? Look up here, you would see customer ID, and in sales data, you also have customer ID. That means that these two friends have a relationship. And so, how do you create the relationship so that Excel is um, a very sharp tool, but it doesn't have the ability to create relationship. You are the ones to create relationship between tables and between items in tables. So that is what Power Pivot for Excel help you model data, help you create relationships that Excel cannot detect on its own. And so you click on this, hold and drag to this. It would create a line showing that there is a one to many relationship with this. One, this guy has relationship with all of the items here. That's what it means. This arrow means one to many relationship. And when I look at this two, is there a relationship? Yes, there is cookie type here, and these other persons have named cookie type as product. Yes, here it is named cookie type. Here it is named product. And so I want to create that relationship that cookie type is the same thing as product. And so I will just click on this hold and drag and take it directly to product. And it would build a relationship, which is one, this cookie type has one to many relationship with all the items here. Now, if there are other relationships, you can also look at them here. If there is revenue doesn't have a relationship, okay, so this is the basic two relationship this data has, and this arrows app has helped you create that relationship. And once you're done with creating that relationship, you can shut it down. There's not much to do with it. Just shut it down and go back to manage, and it would bring back this data. But this time, it has created relationships for you. This data these tables, this table here, this table here, is no longer your normal table. It's your table that now has relationship. And that is a beautiful pattern. Now, once you have created those relationships, it is time to add some new information, some new calculated columns that would better show up what this data is about. Now, this is source information. That is nothing to calculate here. This is customer details. There's nothing to add here. This is also a source data. But at order, there is something to calculate because there is now a relationship between order and cookie type. And so, what are the relationships you can calculate? You can calculate revenues per cookie. You can calculate cost cost per cookie available. And so when a customer made a number of order, this customer bought some 292 units. You need to find what is the total cost of selling 292, taking the information from what we sell each cookie. That is a very important measure. So you need to calculate that measure. And if you have cost the cost for selling 292 cookie or all of that, you can find revenue. And these are the some few calculations you would make. And so I want to begin with the first by calculating total cost. Total cost would help us find um, the cost of selling this amount of cookie from our company. So you do that, you come somewhere here and you click on equal to, and it comes up here at the formula bar. When you have a relationship, you are allowed to use the term related. Related is used for calculation when you have created a relationship between two or more tables. Okay, so what relationship are you looking for here? You are looking for um, cost per cookie. Yes, you're looking for this relationship. Cost, click that, cost per cookie, close that, times unit sold. You want to find unit sold, order of units sold, and you want to click on that and you want to hit on enter. And if your calculation is right, it will just populate total cost just somewhere there. Cost per cookie from the data table, and the order, the unit sold from this. The next I want to find is the next measure I want to calculate is revenue. Yes, because I have revenue expected per cookie, and I can find this information, and so I want to hit on equal to again. What do I do here? I want to begin again with related, and I want to find revenue per cookie. I want to ensure that I close that column and I want to put times. Then I would revenue per cookie multiplied by the number of cookies sold, units of cookies sold, and I'll hit that and click on enter, and it would calculate my revenue just that way. And now by now you are aware that if you have total cost and have revenue, you can find profit. Yes, you can find profit. So the next measure I want to add is profit, and in profit I want to put on equal to, and I don't need related because they are both in the same table, and so I want to just find um, total costs. Is that yes? Revenue minus total cost is not total cost. I want to find revenue. I think it is revenue, other revenue minus total costs. Revenue minus total cost will give me that information. Yes, within the same table, and I will just hit on enter, and it would give me the profits. I have calculated profit just very fast that way. And so these are the measures I want to put. There are several other measures, but this is a basic video that helps you find or use per pivot. And so when you're done with all of this information, you can now go to a pivot table and you have this pivot table. Now, this is the distinct advantage of this. In your previous pivot table, you have seen in your basic data analysis journey, you always would analyze just one table. But the beauty of this is this brings three different tables together. And so you, as you click on each drop down, you see the content of each table. And as you drop down, you see the content of each table. This is possible because you have created a marriage, a relationship between two or more tables, and which of course is what we refer to as data modeling. And so you can pick cookie type from the cookie type data, and you come somewhere there and relate it to the number of order it has. No, it will not be in customer detail, it will be in order. You come somewhere there and relate cookie type to unit sold and all of that, to profit margin, if you like. I can put on profit, and it will tell me the amount of profit each data or each cookie is bringing to our company. Very beautiful thing, don't you think? Very beautiful, if you ask me. It's allowing me not just do um, work pivot with one table, it allows me work pivot with a number of tables. And then from here, of course, I can create my chart that would tell me what each cookie is bringing to our company. And of course, I can add more. I can add revenue. This is profit now. I can add the revenue each is bringing. I could, yes, I could add revenue, and then so I have that and that together. The profit is bringing, the revenue is bringing, and beautiful data, beautiful work. If you ask me, you could do some more things here. You could add a possible you don't have measures to calculate that. So if you create measures, you can calculate KPIs. If you have what do I call it now? If you have measures that allows you create that kind of measure, and this is the basic way you get to use per pivot. From here, you could create your chart, and the advantage of using this is that it allows you marry two or more data. Now, don't worry, this is not only done for sales data. You can do this for HRO data, you can do this for medical data, you could do it for a whole lot of data type. I'm aware that plenty tutorials out there only discusses it for sales data. I will be doing more videos on how to use Power Pivot in HRO data, in medical data, in football data, in social science, social media analysis, and all of that. But the basic concept of Power Pivot is using it to create relationship between two or more tables. And at any time you're able to create relationship between two or more tables, we say you have done data modeling. Now, so go practice this, go learn how to do this, and ask your questions. Drop your questions in the comments. Tell me what more video do you think I should make that would help your data analysis journey?